Hey everyone, this will mostly be a commentary video, so yeah. We'll be talking about a new game called Pressure. It's been a game I've been playing for a while and I also really like it, so I hope you guys can learn about it as well. The game revolves around opening doors, but though you may encounter some entities. One of which I'm going to show you is called Puddles of Void Mass. It hides in a locker, and if entered, it will kill you. But it only does that on solo runs. And multiplayer runs, your health slowly drains until you're dead. The locker you were in is highlighted purple, so other people, like your friends, can save you. The Void Mass lockers are highlighted by the purple eyes in the locker or the puddles near the locker. Really easy to avoid if you actually have eyes. Now for the main entities. You may encounter these entities when a light flickers or when text appears on your screen. That is the first warning encounter for the first entity you may encounter, called Angler. It appears when the light flickers and comes dashing for rooms. You must hide in a locker or find a safe spot where its range is too small to even reach you. When the angler rushes through the halls, the lights behind it break. Although angler is not the first entity you might appear, its variants can also appear, such as Pinky, Frogger, Blitz, and Chainsmoker. Pinky being the only variant that doesn't really flicker any lights, although its scream alerts its presence. And Blitz rushes down the hall very fast. Frogger rebounds 2 times, and I think 3 if you're unlucky enough. And Chainsmoker, which is really slow, but you must go in the locker very late on, or else if you go early, it will kick you out. Another entity, it is called Good People. Well, it's not really good. It hides behind a door. It looks identical, yet it's fake. If the door shall be opened, it will deplete 55 of your health. And basically, if you encounter this guy 2 times, it'll just kill you. And there's also one other entity that helps this guy, and it's called Painter. More on that guy later. But to actually identify the fake door, it either flickers, has static lines on the number of the door, or you can hear growling or breathing from the door. Now for Painter. He's basically like an evil AI who's trying to kill us and sabotaging everything in his way. So that's basically all for him. Also, you can also encounter him in a room. And while you can also rescue him. And I mean quote by quote. Break him to pieces. So yeah. Now let's talk about another entity called Squiddles. They only spawn in dark rooms, but if an angler passes by, they also... You can see their faces when you point a light source at them. But if you point a light source at them for too long, then they will deplete 22 health of your health. There is one item that can counter this. It's called the black light. It has a purple light that doesn't anger Squiddles, which is pretty cool. Now, let's talk about infestation. It will try to make it look at you. And if successfully done so, it will quickly deplete your HP. You can also flash it with a flash beacon and make it enraged. And, and you can do it again to make it purple. And it becomes outraged, makes it more stronger. So yeah. Then we have wall dwellers. And these little mosquitoes pop out of the wall and try to disguise themselves. Every time you look at them, they shield themselves with the walls they have in their hands. Actually, they don't even have hands. The walls are their hands. So they try to shield themselves. But if you look at it long enough, it will eventually go away. And it can be killed with any node entity. Node entity meaning anglers, pinky, frogger, ducks. And once it's killed, it can be eaten for free regeneration. So yeah. It's helpful, yet not helpful. Now, midway entities are entities that you encounter around door 50. The first one I'll show you is called searchlights. Before encountering this guy, you are met with a tram station, and you have to fix a generator in the middle of it. Then you can head on to a tram and then encounter this guy. It's kind of like a boss fight. You have to repair 4 generators. It doubles depending on how many players there are. And it tries to find you with its lights. You just have to hide in the locker or hide under something so it won't get you. After fixing all generators, a door will be open and highlighted green. So you have to quickly run over there before the searchlights kill you. Plus, if you have full HP, you can have a second chance, but I'll leave you at like 10 to 22 HP. Finally, we have an ally, Sebastian. You encounter him at door 60, 50, or 40. He's basically like a shop, and you can buy items from him. He looks like a fish with 3 blue eyes and a light bulb. Basically like an angler. And that's where you also get the key card for him for the next room. And he's also the person you meet when you die. So yeah. Now for another grand encounter called the Abomination. Basically, when you encounter this, you ride a hydroglide. It's a thing that helps you swim through the water like way faster. Now, the Abomination appears. It spawns in when all players are in a particular spot in the tunnels. When the chase scene starts, there are fans and smoke that take 10 HP away from you. But after you get at the end of the chase scene, you go flinged off at the end of the tunnel and drop to the ground, losing 50 HP. If you're under 50 HP, you'll just get depleted to 1 HP by automatically. And for Abomination, he would just fall to his demise. And there's a healing source called Parenthesis. It just heals you to full HP, so yeah. You can also piggyback people. So it's basically like you hold onto a player while they're swimming on the hydroglide. Then they can just do the entire chase scene for you. That's basically piggybacking. And for another grand encounter called the Firewall. It's kind of like a parkour course, but like a firewall is chasing you. But now Navi says that it will be turned off. But none other than Painter tries to kill us with turning on the firewall. If you run into the firewall, it will actually deplete like a lot of your HP. And there's also like an abyss down there. So if you get caught in it, it will boost you up and take 22 HP. And once you're done with the evaluation parkour course, carry on with your normal run. And you also get a medkit at the end. Now, an entity that is exclusive to only one room type called Dredge. and their entity is actually called bottom feeder. Dredge is a rune type that forces you to walk in water, which is quite annoying. And plus, the bottom feeder is there too, which will repeatedly try to get you in its mouth, trying to eat you. On PC, you have to spam W and A. On console, you have to spam the jump button, and on mobile, you just have to spam click. And you use a ton of HP too, which is really, really bad. But there are elevated spaces you can go in, and you can just hide in a locker. And if an angler passes through, the bottom feeder won't die. But you do get a badge if you complete the dredge rune type. This is mostly an underrated rune type, but it's really, really cool. Now, this entity is really rare to encounter, but really hard to encounter. It's called Pandemonium. It spawns the lights flickering as normal, but it will make a very, very weird sound. And once it passes through and sees you on the spot, it will immediately start chasing it down. Actually, chasing you down, sorry. But if you hide in a locker, stay in it, Pandemonium would run to the locker and initiate a minigame. The minigame is you have to keep a dot in a circle, but Pandemonium will keep and repeatedly banging on the locker, making the dot fly outwards from the circle. Or you can just hide in a safe spot. But not all safe spots are safe. Sometimes, even when you're out of range from any other known monster, Pandemonium will still try to chase you down. So you have to look for Pandemonium safe spots. There are safe spots where you are heavily unseeable by any known monster. Heck, even any monster. So those are Pandemonium safe spots. But please, if you ever find Pandemonium, just run to a Pandemonium safe spot. Or if there aren't any, just try your best on a minigame. First, you have to actually know what the ridge is. Basically, the ridge is after you collect the crystal. For those who don't know, and pressure, your goal is actually to collect the crystal and get out of the black site. So after you get the crystal, every light in the black site will turn off, making so that known monsters like Angler randomly spawn in the dark, and you don't even know if they're coming or not. Also, known monsters spawn a lot more frequently. So basically, the ridge is like 15 to 20 more doors, testing your capabilities of the dark. But not even finished when you get through all the doors. And you remember searchlights? Yeah, there's another grand encounter of them. But if you fix a certain amount of generators, one other searchlight will spawn, and it's up to 4 searchlights. But once you do that, you have to go in a cave and turn on a button. It'll be marked with a light though. Then once you pull a switch, you have to go to another light. Then you have to pull more switches with more searchlights towering over you. But once you do, you go for a tunnel that leads back to the black site. Oh yeah, and there's a big ass robot called the trench bleeder. It will try to stomp the searchlights, and for some reason it wasn't turned on just to do that. It just did it automatically. But we'll talk about that in a later video. So once you actually do get back to the black site, you can go in another submarine and end your run, making sure that you beat the main mode of pressure. We'll talk about other modes later on other videos, but I hope you enjoyed this one. And this is my first commentary video, so I really hope you liked it. And yeah, and make sure to like and subscribe. And with that, peace everybody.